Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Hawaii Weather Watch. Today is August 25th, and right now we are looking at Hurricane Hone. You heard me right, it is now a hurricane. It is passing south of the Big Island, and it has brought torrential rainfall to much of the Big Island. Some very damaging wind gusts, especially for the Kahala region, and South Point is getting battered right now. There's some power outages on a lot of the windward side as they got some pretty powerful wind gusts as well. And at the end of this loop, you can really see this torrential rainfall that is still occurring with some of the outer bands of this storm system as it moves on to the south. I mean, look at this just intense tropical downpour just continues across much of the windward side here. Some places have already gotten 13, 14 plus inches, no doubt locally higher across a lot of the Big Island. And we got high surf advisories out there as well. We got some windy conditions for Maui, Oahu, Molokai, and Kauai also. We'll take a look at some of those details here as we scroll through the video this morning. So let me go ahead and take a look at the lower level water vapor loop. Looks like kind of ragged yesterday. This is yesterday, and you can see the Big Island right here. I'm going to put this into motion, and you'll see the deep convection start to flare up here. A few lightning strikes, as you can see, as that was getting organized again. And then you see the spiral band start to spin around the circulation, and it becomes a hurricane, at least according to the Central Pacific Hurricane Center there. And again, just massive amounts of precipitation, very strong winds, and big wave action as well. So taking a look here, there's Hone and there's Gilma out here. You'll see some progs and some charts showing Gilma getting close to the Hawaiian Islands. It's not much of a threat right now. It's going to be in a little bit of the north side of that warmer water, so it's probably going to be falling apart as it gets towards the Hawaiian Islands. It might bring a slug of moisture with it, but should not have the impacts, especially for the Big Island that Hone is currently having. And taking a look at the wider loop here, you can see Hone is right here. There's Gilma, starting to look a little bit weaker on satellite imagery. It was still a major hurricane as of yesterday. So again, looking at the wind speeds, this is Hone off to the south here, bringing some very strong winds to South Point and surrounding areas. And again, it brought some very strong winds also to windward sides. And of course, the downsloping event was pretty significant yesterday. I'm going to show you some of those wind speeds. I was looking at some of the Tempest weather stations. One of them gusted over 100 miles per hour. And you can see going through the channels, not a great day to be out in the boats between Molokai and Oahu as well. And Oahu and Kauai are going to remain quite windy as we go through the day today. So we got flash flood warnings for much of the Big Island. We got tropical storm warnings, hurricane local statement, you name it, we got it. Hurricane warnings, we got high surf advisories. It's all out there. This is the National Weather Service Forecast Office, Honolulu, Hawaii. And you can click on these individual locations and it gives you individual forecasts. But we're going to take a look here at the high resolution rapid refresh. There's the Big Island. There's the winds right now. This is 10-meter wind gust potential, so surface wind gusts. And I want to kind of get the timing down a little bit here. You can see the wind start to tail off here as we go through this evening and tonight. The Big Island is going to calm down, but you still got a little ways to go for South Point and Kohala and some of the higher peaks, and for places like Maui, especially through the channels, Maui and Molokai, Lanai, some strong winds. But that will be waning as we go through tonight and on in through tomorrow. And then this will start to become a memory as it moves off to the west and out of the Hawaiian Islands region. But right now, we still have a very dangerous situation going on out there. Hopefully, you don't have to go out and about, between the volcano and South Point and up towards Hilo and whatnot, because there is still some absolutely torrential rainfall incoming. And the high-resolution rapid refresh model here is picking up on that quite well also. And again, a lot of places have got over a foot. In some places locally, probably higher, up over 15 inches. And so then you can kind of take a look and see that system move off, and we start to take that rainfall away from the Big Island, thankfully, as we go on into Monday and Tuesday. Now, this is the official forecast. You can see it's supposed to be a hurricane all the way on in through the day today, and then probably by early tomorrow morning down to a tropical storm again. Then you can see it would be south of Kauai right there. Now, they put out these discussions every 6 hours. A lot of good information. Some of it is extremely technical, but if you want to go ahead and take a look at that, you can also look at things like wind probabilities and graphics, and you can look at the archives and whatnot and forecast advisories, all kinds of good stuff in here. So yeah, highly recommend that. Make sure to click on the right one. There's Central Pacific, Eastern Pacific, and the Atlantic if you're, for some reason, you're out traveling. Now, taking a look at the sea surface temperature, so this is what goes on. You can see the Hawaiian Islands here. The water start to warm up as you get towards them from the west coast of North America. We got that cold water current that moves down across California, for example, and it kind of spreads back out across the Pacific Ocean. So storms that approach from the east tend to be in that cooler water and they get disrupted more easily. The big threat is when storms remain south, and Hone is in fairly warm water right now, passing the South Island or south point of Big Island, and that's why it did strengthen up recently. And the biggest threat for the Hawaiian Islands is a storm that passes to the south and makes a quick north turn, such as the Niki in 1992. And of course, the big wave action is out there today. Hopefully, you don't have to be out and about in that, and you can see that moving through the channels. And again, a lot of the windward sides of the islands dealing with that. But as we go on into Tuesday morning, you'll see those waves noticeably drop back down. Maybe another little bump from some of the wave action from Gilma. Surf 7 to 10 feet, and again, you can see this goes through about 6 p.m. tonight. Strong breaking waves, strong currents make swimming dangerous. Hopefully nobody out in the waters, at least for a day or two. And kind of academic at this point, but this is a European, the latest track there. And of course, that's just going to move off to the west. It's already south of the Big Island there. But look at some of these rainfall amounts. Look at Hawaii National Park. There's Volcano. Here's Mountain View. Look at 13 plus inches at Mountain View. Volcano, 14 inches. Yeah, some of the slopes surrounding Hilo there, a lot of runoff coming down. Hopefully you guys don't have to be out and about. You know, Hilo International Airport, not as much right there, but once you start pushing that torrential rainfall up the slope there, that really wrings it out, and you get some just insane amounts. There's probably going to be some really huge amounts that start to show up in here by the time the storm wraps up, and we can take a look at the data. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at winds as well, because I talked about that downsloping wind event here, and look at this gust, 93 miles per hour. I believe this is the Hawaii Electric Company station out there, and I saw some of the Tempest stations that are now offline, no doubt due to power outages, that some of them were, at least one was gusting over 100 miles per hour, and in just an absolutely incredible wind speed jump for this area. And let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. But you can see the terrain feature here, and then you can see how quickly it drops back down to sea level, of course, right there. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. And let me just go ahead and go to observations, and we'll go to latest, and I'm going to see if I can bring this up, because there we go. I want to show you the jump that the wind did here. You can really see when the downsloping event took place right here about yesterday, about what, maybe noon or just very early afternoon. And there's that 93 mile per hour gust right here. And you can see the very strong winds. We got a little bit of a break here as we went through last night, and then it bounced back today, and you're still getting some very savage gusts out there, gusts up over 60 miles per hour, just continuing for some of these areas. And again, I noticed that a lot of weather stations were down, so no doubt due to power outages, but this one has remained up. And again, 93 mile per hour gust ripping through the area. Also, South Point in places like, you know, Volcano, Mountain View, we're gusting up over 40, 45, maybe probably 50 miles per hour, which can be quite disruptive as well. I know there are a lot of power outages as well. Family called out there and said the power was out. And here's South Point gusting 62 miles per hour. So yeah, what a dynamic system here. I thought about coming out here and chasing it, but again, then you have to worry about the logistics of getting back home and whatnot, because I do have to work next week after all. I don't want to get stuck. So yeah, anyway, we'll take one more look at the loop. It was looking pretty ragged yesterday, but that deep convection firing up. Hopefully everybody is got what they need and you are in place, because it's still ongoing out there. And we'll take one more look at the Doppler radar here as well. That band right here is very concerning, because you see this is just torrential, tropical, good old-fashioned downpour rainfall. And you can see some of these bands moving down, you know, man, you know, Pahala down here and Volcano, just some of these bands moving in are just absolutely torrential. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of damage occurs. And South Point has just been getting absolutely hammered at times as well. So anyway, I hope you guys found these videos useful. Anytime Hawaii does get some severe weather or tropical storm activity, I will be covering them. It's always been a thought of mine to open a channel up of maybe the Pacific Ocean and do Alaska, Hawaii, and maybe even portions off across the Western Pacific Ocean, because sometimes those can turn around, especially during the fall and winter months, and have big impacts on places like Hawaii and the west coast of North America and whatnot. They can bring windstorms in the Pacific Northwest also. So anyway, just thinking about that, maybe something for the future. But otherwise, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. You know, this is probably the last video I'm going to do on Hurricane Hone here, but I will be doing my Pacific Northwest and California Weather Watch briefings here shortly. So I will talk to you guys later.